Hi, it's Splinterverse. Welcome to another episode of D&D New Releases, where we offer first impressions of new third-party products for Dungeons & Dragons. We cover a selection of titles from Dungeon Masters Guild and DriveThruRPG each week. The titles are presented in alphabetical order by site, and all of them are linked in the video description. Purchasing the books using those links helps the channel, but you can also support us by purchasing one of our best-selling books. Our newest release, Swarms of the Multiverse, offers over 70 brand new creatures, including their associated swarms. Plus, you get instructions on how to make your own balanced swarms, and lots of bonus materials such as 4 new demiplanes. We've got lineages suitable for any setting, as well as optional lineage rules in our Van Richten's Librum of Lineages. With our Potions Unlocked book, we have over 100 pages of material to take your potions to the next level in your game. Our Feywild Companion offers 150 pages of Feywild fun for players and DMs. Also, our book, Fizban's Vault of Draconic Secrets, contains over 50 pages of dragon-themed player options, including a subclass for each class and much more. Please support the channel by purchasing one of our books using the links in the video description. Before we look at this week's new releases, let's check out the exclusive Splinterverse discount for this week. It's Journey of the Spiritwalker from the Aaron Chronicles, and it's a complete compendium of spiritual entities and the powers of animism. It's a best Electrum seller, and it's by Nikos Ostas, George Svefendorkis, and Nicholas Totiev. It's 159 pages. And it's just a massive volume of good stuff. It says it's a complete compendium of spiritual entities and the mysterious powers of animism for those who dare to invoke them. Through its pages, you will discover the various kinds of spirits that inhabit enchanted forests, haunted ruins, and other mystical realms beyond the veil. You'll also learn the ways of summoning such entities, whether to become a host to their supernatural powers or seal them away through occult rituals. And it's got all kinds of stuff, including a new spirit subtype, as well as how one may contact spirits. You've got numerous summoning rituals, seances, and talismans. You've got a unique system of spiritual attunement that allows a character to become a host to a spiritual entity and share in its host's powers. You've got 11 primal spirits, 13 ancestral ones, 8 Etherean ones, 5 outsider spirits, and a new intricate system for creating magic items through spiritual binding, which allows you to seal the essence of the spirits into fetishes and take advantage of their powers. Then you've got 25 new magic items, 22 new spells, 13 subclasses, and then the book is over 150 pages that are bookmarked. So, look at this stunning artwork and layout going on here. Everything the Aaron Chronicles does is worth paying attention to. They're very high quality publications from them. So let's look inside. And, it's normally $24.95, but you're getting a 30% off discount with this title. Excuse me, I should say 36% off. So that's quite a steal for this very popular title. So you've got all these different sections here. You can see they just deep dive into these spirits, giving you all kinds of ways to connect to the spirit world. And you can do it through the different creature types here, or you can use the magic items to connect, like creating the fetishes, or you can use some of the spells or the subclasses. You don't have to use everything, and maybe use some in some campaign, some in another campaign, or all of it, whatever you want to do. But they've got, for the Artificer, they got the Spirit Binder, the Domain of Dreams for the Cleric, the Warlock Patron is the Hag. Just tons of fun stuff in here. And again, this gorgeous artwork throughout really makes it even more enjoyable. So it goes through animism and what that is, and spiritual binding here. And then you go right into the spirit world with the different entities, including ancestral spirits, summoning a spirit, interacting with them. The research that goes into the Aaron Chronicles books is just astonishing. So this whole section is becoming a host and talks about how that works. And then there's demands of the spirit and repercussions associated with hosting that spirit. And then you've got summoning a primal spirit, which is a spell here. and it goes through what the primal spirits are and what environments you'd find them in. There's even songs with a QR code, so you can listen to these different sounds that would come out of these spirits, I guess. And then you got the primal talismans. I mean, it's just so detailed. Here's something called an Ember Incarnate, which is got a various challenge levels depending on what happens with it. Got the Meadow Spirit. I mean, just such cool stuff. But let's go back up here and read a little bit about hosting a spirit. A character may choose to become the host for a spirit either by accepting such an offer by the entity or by being the one to propose it in the first place. In order for a willing connection to be established between the two creatures, they must usually share a common purpose and be persuaded into believing that this course of action will help them in realizing it. So it's kind of like a bargain, like that you do with the Fae. And then it says attunement. Establishing a spiritual attunement requires the character to use a free attunement slot over the course of a short rest. Much like attuning themselves to a magic item, during this short rest, the character aligns with the spirit's essence and allows it to become part of them. And then as long as they have that spirit attunement, that slot is taken up. Each spirit may range from levels between 1 to 5 and has the potential to grant 1 host power for each of its levels. As a general rule, a host power provided at a higher level is more impactful than another. The host powers granted by a spiritual attunement vary and are detailed according to each spirit in their respective chapters. So throughout the book, you can find out more about their host powers. It says, regardless of the number of host powers that a spirit is capable of providing, the character who serves as its host must be potent enough to become a worthy vessel for them. And then there's, it shows here like the character level and the spirit level and then the powers gained. So as you level, the spirit levels too through 1 of 5 levels, and then it gives you more power. So by the time you get to level 17 to 20 with your character, the host powers could be up to 5. So it just depends on the spirit, because some of them don't give you more than 1, it looks like. But that's cool. I like how it's set up, how it's got the leveling. It says a party of adventurers in the company of a spiritual ally is stronger than what would normally be for its levels. When calculating combat encounter difficulty as a DM, consider the party capable of dealing with encounters 1 challenge rating higher than normal. So that's an easy, simple way to keep track of that. And then just as any character, a spirit has a personality of its own, although often less intricate. This personality allows the creature to form a moral compass, which then directs it towards its own purposes and aspirations. A host who repeatedly acts against the spirit's wishes or counseling will eventually find themselves in dispute with it. As the spirit grows increasingly disappointed by its host's decisions, it may attempt to directly oppose them. Each time a host acts in a manner opposed to the spirit's personality or purpose, conflict may arise. When a conflict occurs, a spirit makes a charisma check contested by the host's charisma check. If the spirit wins the contest, it can make a demand to its host, and that includes those here. So one of them is the spirit demands that its host refuse to collaborate with a particular individual. Or the spirit demands that its host end their attunement with it. So that would be devastating. And then repercussions. So if the host still refuses to comply, then these are the repercussions: that it can end its attunement, it can suppress 1 or more of its active powers, or it can attempt to take control, possessing them. So you see how fun this is? There's so much you can do with spirits. Everything on repelling, binding. I mean, there's so much detail and information here for you to engage all these different types of spirits that they're offering in here, in addition to ones that are already in the game, right? You can use this with ones that are already in some of the existing books from Wizards of the Coast. So you've got this one called, here's a host power, just to give you an example. Plant the seeds. Once per long rest, by putting your palm on soil as an action, a flourishing bush rapidly grows in an unoccupied square adjacent to you, which gives you with rich fruits that resemble tangerines. The number of fruits conjured in this way are equal to the meadow spirit's level. A creature can eat a fruit as an action, benefiting from 1d10 temporary hit points and advantage on saving throws against being poisoned for the next 8 hours. The bush remains for 1 hour and then withers away. And that's just at level 1, character level 1, and primal level 1. And then as you go, there's more things that happen. So this is just such a super cool book with gorgeous art. I mean, just for the art alone, this book is worth the price. And as I said, it's normally $24.95, but you're going to get 36% off of that with our exclusive discount. So You want to look in the timestamps. It's going to be the very first link to get that discount, or if you go to the alphabetical section in the pinned comment, it'll be under Journey of the Spiritwalker. And you want to be following us on all these social media channels, because every Monday at 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time we do release a new discount that's exclusive to us, and it only lasts about a week, so you want to take advantage of it before it's gone. So check it out. It's under Journey of the Spiritwalker. Give it a click. Next, we have Blue, Draconic Hues by PJ Perello and Zach Jennings from Goblin Scrawl Games. It's $4.99 for 28 pages, 5th edition. And it says a desert trade route has been besieged by an aggressive blue dragon. The Radiant Oasis, a town on the shores of a small lake in the middle of the unforgiving waste, relies on the caravans for its existence. Track the vicious lizard, Ilvax, back to his pyramid lair. Brave, devious, and deadly traps and battle the dragon's loyal minions. If you survive, Ilvax himself awaits in his cavernous lair. There, even the sands beneath the party's feet bend to his malevolent will. And so it's for 4 to 5 characters from 5th to 7th level. And then you get this Radiant Oasis town. You get a 2-level map of the dragon's lair. And you get some unnumbered maps that you can use for VTT as well. And a new playable race, the Scarab-like Keperite. And so looking inside, you got your adventure summary and background and your hooks and then the intro. And let's read a little bit about the Radiant Oasis, because it sounds like a fun location. It's the name of a small lake in the desert, as well as the town on its shores. The town itself is built on a low sandstone hill that rises above the pristine reflective waters below. Most permanent structures are constructed from red sandstone quarried from the surrounding area. In addition to the sandstone buildings, dozens of less permanent structures can be found around or just outside the town proper. These brightly colored tents serve a variety of purposes. Some are merchant stalls, others house travelers, merchants, and anyone else passing through town who wishes a larger dwelling or more privacy than the town's well-appointed inns can offer. And it's got, information on Sahir, who is one of the characters in this area. It looks like also a member of the new race, the Keperites. He's a noble. It says Sahir served as a scout for one of the merchant houses of Ebka for years, escorting caravans and acquiring secret information from rival merchant families. And then it's got personality trait, ideal, bond, etc., including a flaw: I am overconfident and have a hard time accepting when I'm wrong. So pretty well, ironed out these characters to give you, that background that you need. And then it just seems really, really organized, because you've got your desert encounters, you've got your adventure hook, your introduction, even population boxes with, information on Ebka, the government, the defense, etc. So you can drop this in if you need like a little desert location in the middle of, whatever homebrew setting you've got, or any of the existing Wizards settings. You can just have this little oasis somewhere in there, the Radiant Oasis, or, change the name and have it be part of an existing desert town. That's fine too. But it seems really fun. I like that there's 2 levels for the dragon for you to deal with the dragon. And looks like it could be a really good time. So check it out. It's under Blue in the links below. Give it a click. Next, we have Doom and Divinity, Lair Magazine, issue number 19. From the DM Lair, and Luke Hart. It's 57 pages, and it's a monthly magazine that's 5th edition compatible. And this issue includes Infection and Illness, a treatise on disease, a disease rule set that allows GMs to incorporate mild, moderate, and deadly diseases. Then it's got Rite and Ruin, legacy magic items, 15 legacy magic items that unlock additional powers as the characters level up or as story beats unfold. Word of the Divine, a level 16 adventure featuring divas, quaddles, planetars, storm giants, and more. Includes digital maps for online play. Trapped in the Tallest Tower, a level 1 adventure featuring a variety of beasts and a lion who has kidnapped his pet princess. Includes digital maps. So just tons of stuff. Let's take a look inside. So you've got all kinds of sections here, pretty thorough, with your diseases, the gods, the Rite and Ruin, NPC creation tables. All kinds of good stuff here. So this whole section that we're seeing here is focused on disease, and it's even got mild diseases. So we'll look at some of those: moderate diseases, life-threatening diseases, and then disease after death even. And then you can see quite a bit on the gods as well. So they've got a whole table of these gods. So you can get this whole pantheon of gods to plop into your campaign if you need some. Very cool. And then, oh, this is nice. They've got like a flowchart, or not really a flowchart. I guess it's more like a family tree of relationships between the gods. So that's helpful. You can see who's connected to who, and what their interactions with each other are going to be like. And then here we've got, in this section, it's looks like the legacy magic items, where they increase in power as you level. So very, very cool. Lots of good stuff. Let's go up here and we'll read a little bit of the diseases. I'll find one of the diseases for you. So let's do the yellow rash. So it's a mild disease, airborne. Individuals who become infected with Astenia luteus have their skin rapidly begin turning a harsh yellow hue. The emergence of this disease is often met with alarm among local officials. Stage 1, the infected individual's skin turns a harsh yellow color, and it becomes exceptionally itchy, with a small clear crystal poking through the surface. And then stage 2, the infected person's body starts having trouble efficiently processing waste. They now have disadvantage on saving throws against poison and are vulnerable to poison damage. And in stage 3, the disease progresses to the point that it becomes difficult to handle day-to-day life. The itching has progressed to a constant searing pain with what seems to be salt crystals forming on the surface of the skin. Every day, the infected person must make a con saving throw, or they are considered poisoned. And then it becomes life-threatening. Later on, the body's internal organs have begun to shut down. The infected person is inflicted with the poison condition at all times, even if otherwise immune. They must succeed on a con saving throw every 8 hours, or they gain a level of exhaustion. And then it's got a treatment section, which involves a tea made from purple zinnia. So really cool how they're like laying out all these different levels of the disease. A lot of the diseases, official diseases for 5th edition, are kind of just like straightforward, small. They don't have as much detail. They don't have all these stages, etc. So it can be really cool to have something more involved. That's also a mystery for the players, because they have to see kind of what's going to happen over time with these characters. Are they going to, is it going to get worse? And what's the effects of it getting worse? Is it, it looks like exhaustion in some cases, right? And so discovering that, figuring out how to deal with that is kind of like a puzzle a little bit, as opposed to just like, oh, you get this condition and that's it, until you cure it. It's a little basic, right? So very cool. It's under Doom and Divinity in the links below. Look for it and give it a click. Next, we've got It's Tough to Be a God by Crimson Terrain and author Anthony Qualkenbush, and it is $15 on sale. It says this supplement is for your 5th edition game, provides everything you need to create, call upon, and battle the most powerful entities in the multiverse. Included within are descriptions and statistics for a pantheon of deities, divine beasts, and quasi-deities, along with suggestions for creating your own gods. And it includes information on advancing characters to the heights of divinity, allowing people to play as gods. So that's pretty cool. You've got custom oracle class and 3 subclasses, 30 items including holy relics, 33 monsters, 28 spells, and new divine feats. And then there's the Nephilim and demigod races, as well as backgrounds and adventure hooks. And you can see the really fun layout here with some of the sample pages in the description. But I love that it includes this section on creating the divine, helping you create your own gods, because a lot of homebrewers, they have so much to do, and there might be areas where they're just not very strong, or they're not feeling very creative. So when you can find a book like this that gives you that sort of section on instructions on how to do something, I think that's always good to have on hand, because there's going to be times where you just aren't feeling creative. And so going through the process, even if you don't keep the result, maybe it's just warming you up for your own homebrew creation. That's really cool. And then all the different player options, It just looks really cool. So let's scroll through here and see what we can read for you. So creating gods. Got the creation myths, the gods and their culture, rituals and traditions. So they go through a lot of sections on how to create the gods. So let's just read a little bit on the rituals and traditions. It says, rituals allow people to add a tangible nature to an intangible realm of the divine by connecting our physical self to our spiritual self through our senses. They allow us to experience the spiritual world using our sense of sight, touch, smell, hearing, and even taste. Almost all religions have some form of ritualized practices, though they may not be immediately apparent or as formal as we might be used to. They do tend to follow certain patterns, such as being performed at set times or during specific events. They may be highly stylized and include the use of specific symbolic elements. Some rituals are kept private or hidden, while many are performed in public spaces. Festivals also have a ritualistic component, making carnivals and festivals just as important in some belief systems. And then down here, here's some example rituals and traditions. So, Bacchanalia, ancient Roman festival of Bacchus, drunken revelry, Gregorian chant, a form of monophonic, unaccompanied sacred song in Latin, often heard during Mass in Roman Catholic Church. So they're just going through some real world examples to kind of inspire you, which is really helpful. So yeah, you get to read a huge chunk of this section on creating your own pantheon, and it talks about whether you're going to have 1, 2, 3, how many gods are going to be in your pantheon, and really just helps you plan that out. And that's just what we're seeing in the preview. As I said in the book, there's races, there's a new class with 3 subclasses, there's backgrounds, feats, just tons of good stuff. This just seems like a really fun book, so check it out. It's Tough to Be a God in the links below. Give it a click. Next, we have Necropolis from Necromancer Games. It's $29.99, and it says, I will say his name just once and only whisper it. The name of this evil one is Rahutep. So says the priest of Thoth, beseeching your aid. Something has awakened within the ancient necropolis in the Ahura Hills. Have you the courage to venture there and rid the land at last of a terrifying evil? Based on the original work by the Grandmaster himself, Gary Gygax, Necropolis is an epic desert adventure series for 5th edition D&D, previously published by Necromancer Games as a D20 system adventure, has been entirely updated and revised. And it says this grand adventure is set in the triple kingdom of Kemet, on the continent of Libyanos, in the Lost Lands, the world of Frog God Games and Necromancer Games. Necropolis is designed for a party of 6 to 8 seasoned characters starting between 7th and 9th level, and will challenge even the most experienced players. So it's just really cool. I love this artwork. I think that's just a stunning, stunning cover. And Frog God Games and Necromancer Games, they always do good stuff, and it's cool that they've updated something that people enjoyed previously with D20, and that they've placed it in terms of setting within some of their existing settings, because then you can tie it in there if you want, or you can use it on your own somewhere. Just the stories that come to mind looking at this cover artwork, just unreal. I love it so much. That cover is just really beautiful. So check it out. It's under Necropolis in the links below. Give it a click. Next we've got Nellie's Nursery from Zan's Adventures, 5th edition. And it says it's a beginner-friendly adventure, a dark tale of living toys, monstrous creatures, unnatural abominations, and one little girl in a life-size dollhouse of terror. It's designed for player groups from 1 to 3 in levels. It says Nellie was always an odd child, born to her family of wealth and privilege. Her parents made the grave mistake of spoiling her rotten. And she tortured animals and people alike for her amusement. So what happens when you mix the powers of an arch-wizard with the temperament of a rich and spoiled girl? I can't imagine that's going to turn out well, but that's why the party's going to need to be here to fix it, right? It says it's designed to be played with only a few minutes of prep. Key points, ability checks, items, decisions, etc. stand out in bold text so you can quickly find what you need. And they have separate boxes for, you can see on success, on failure down here in these pictures, how everything's set up. So it's easily, if you're in a hurry or you're trying to, handle a VTT and your laptop and your phone, whatever you're using as a DM, this is going to jump out at you, making it easy to pinpoint and quickly reach when you're running this module. And it is, I should point out, it's 56 pages. It's $4.99. And there's also a little video you can watch on it down here. So I encourage you to watch that and subscribe to that channel. But looking inside, you can see kind of this cool little layout of the place where Nellie is, including this room 1, which is a tea room. And it says, to begin the adventure, you place the players in room 1 and then read the brown text box down here. And then what's cool is it goes, if you do a wisdom perception check with a DC of 10, then you find this out if you're successful. So very cool that it's broken out in these really easy to read boxes. So if successful, as you carefully look around the room, you notice something odd, or perhaps more accurately, the lack of something is quite odd. Judging from the room's decaying wallpaper, this room has gone unused for decades. Yet as you clearly examine the room, you don't see any trace of dust anywhere. Not only that, but you don't see a single cobweb, not even in the room's dark corners. So very, very descriptive. And then it's got Nellie's voice, and you're interacting with her as you read through that. And then down here, another one of those cool little acrobatics saving throws. So on a success, if a player is successful, they will duck out of the way of the hot tea and take no damage. On a failure, if a player fails to check, then the scalding hot tea hits them and they take 1 hit point of damage. And then you just keep going. There's this baby crib, which is a medium construct, and it's a challenge rating 1/4. And it just seems really fun and playful. Like you're going to have to deal with this rambunctious child who happens to also be quite powerful. So lots of fun waiting for you if you're in the market for an adventure for Tier 1. This could be a really good option for you. So check it out under Nellie's Nursery in the links below and give it a click. Next we've got Scarred Lands, Dead Man's Rust, from Onyx Path Publishing. It's for 5th edition. Its PDF is $19.99, or you can get a hardcover premium color for $64, standard color $44, or combos of those. Lots of authors, so I'm not going to read all the authors' names, but it's 248 pages, and it says, at the Night Chronicles in the city of Leone, the adventurers enjoy a wild revel. Opportunity arises when the aging bard 𝙁𝙗 Bronzeleaf hires the party to escort him to the Broadreach horizon. The perilous voyage takes the group through Titan spawn-infested lands, but should they arrive at the last bastion of uncorrupted wood in the Hornsaw Forest. There, they meet the clans of the Broadreach Elves and a century of hollow legionnaires dispatched to the Forest of Blood to offer aid and friendship. But a dark shadow looms over the accursed wood. The necromancers of Glivid Yultul sow corruption and death through the Hornsaw Forest. Legionnaires, elves, and dwarfs go missing. A horrific infection appears, seeming to target the legionnaires. There's a lot going on, which is good. That means it'll be pretty action-packed. So this is a complete campaign taking characters from levels 1 to 10. It includes write-ups of 4 of the major locations in central Gelspod. And it's got playable options including races, sub-races, and subclasses, as well as new monsters and magic items. So tons of stuff packed into the 248 pages, and fun artwork already that we're seeing. So it's got the main campaign, story hooks, overview, and then it goes into locations of note, other villages, and it looks like a bunch of clans that you can find out about. And then the Hornsaw Forest, investigating the Hornsaw. And then, it just goes through so much detail here. I can tell they put a lot into this. And then as you get to the end, in the appendix, they've got magic items and equipment, Elion's Die, all the way to Wand of the Blood Rose Vines. And you've got spells and rituals. And then you've got different types of elves, subclasses, including the Path of the Rage Witch, and something for the Ranger as well. And then Wizard, you've got, Path of the Rage Witch Ranger, I think. Or no, I'm not sure. No, Ranger is something different. Yeah, because that's a different page number. Wizard, you've got the Arcane Tradition Animation, and then the Prodigalist. So just so much in here to explore for 5th edition. I mean, it's so nice to get such massive books and to be able to just really just dig in and find out about new places, new subclasses, whatever it is that you're interested in. There's probably going to be something in here because they've got so much between the magic items, races, monsters, all that stuff going on. So let's see what we can read for you in here. So let's read some of the story hooks. So as the story begins when the party visits Leone to attend the Night of Chronicles. If the characters agree to escort Ďaďochi, he offers rich rewards for their assistance. Ďaďochi first offers the hospitality of his fellow wood dwarves in Freeholm, though he doesn't reveal at this point that he hasn't been there in a long time. Ďaďochi's intention isn't to trick the characters, he simply recalls the hospitality of the wood dwarves of the Broadreach from his youth and expects their welcome to be the same. It says, if your party starts from somewhere other than Leone or they refuse Ďaďochi's offer, choose from one of the following alternate hooks. So, local, while in the library at local, a member of the party found a letter that said that necromancers of 𝙤𝙤𝙧𝙬𝙧 have taken several Hollow Knights from their centurion in the Broadreach horizon. This could lead characters directly to the Gleaming Valley, where they seek out 𝙤𝙤𝙘𝙀, who wrote the letter to Caius, the murdered monk. And then there's also, perhaps the party starts the adventure in the Broadreach horizon. After all, there could be any number of reasons they may have journeyed there. The villages in the Broadreach host several exciting festivals, and there are plenty of plants and animals that can only be found in the Hornsaw Forest. Whatever brings the characters to the Broadreach horizon, they catch the attention of Ravana. So, yeah, so it's nice that they're giving you multiple ways to arrive at the start of the adventure. And then you can see here, just based on the chapters, that, chapter 1, they're going to be suggested party level 1, but by the time you get to the final chapter, Peace in the Valley, it's suggested that they be at level 10. So this is great. This is going to take you through half the levels in the game with everything they have in these 248 pages. And then there's going to be stuff you can use after the adventure, right? Some of the spells and subclasses and stuff, you can always use those later, whether you're playing in the Scarred Lands or a different setting. So I appreciate this is giving you so much. It's great that there's print-on-demand options and just action-packed stuff. I mean, I think that's so nice to be able to take your characters halfway through. And I also like that it's halfway through, because then if you want to do like a totally different setting, have the characters teleported to another world or have them continue in Scarred Lands, you have those options without feeling like, oh, well, we quit halfway through. It's deliberately designed to take you halfway through the levels. So from that point, it's up to you. Do you want to continue with these characters? So I really love the flexibility of this book for dungeon masters and players. So check it out. It's under Scarred Lands, Dead Man's Rust, in the links below. Give it a click. Next, we have the Stele of Zameon from 𝙤𝙤𝙧𝙬 and Cliff Dunn. It's $1 for 12 pages, 5th edition. It says, rising from the great souk of Vateshar stands the Stele of Zameon, a monumental pillar and magical artifact built over 1,000 years ago to serve a long dead and long forgotten hermit, magically bound to the consecrated ground on which it was erected. The Stele provides a mighty focus for prayer and fasting that can bestow powerful enchanted benefits to the pillar hermits who are drawn to isolate themselves atop it. So you get the backstory of it, vows taken by the pillar hermits, descriptions of a dozen locations in the neighborhood surrounding it, powers gained from the successful use of the Stele, day and night battle maps. I mean, just all kinds of stuff. And again, this is part of, the free city of Vateshar's mega continent of Zul drip release strategy from 𝙤𝙬𝙧𝙬. So you're getting to know a little bit about that setting every week for very low prices. I mean, this is $1 to get all this information and these maps. So it says it's monumental and man-made 147-foot ceramic tower and a magical artifact that stands in the south central part of the Great Souk, the vast open-air marketplace of the free city of Vateshar. And it says, a marvel of craftsmanship, the Stele, which stands approximately 14 stories high, is constructed of clay, ceramic, earthenware, pottery, with additions built over the centuries in wood and other materials. And it says artisans and maintenance personnel perform repairs or similar work, and almost every cult based in the Free City has some dogmatic or canonical connection to the Stele. So you've got this towering thing that's in this city, and it's been there for 1,000 years, so that you've got all these connections to it, which is cool. So there's vows and sacrifices that people can take with this thing. So one of them is the vow of silence. The 𝙬𝙧 may not communicate. To gain the benefit from this sacrifice, the 𝙬𝙧 must succeed on a charisma save every day, including the first. On a single failed save, the 𝙬𝙧 communicates to a creature, perhaps absent-mindedly saying hello to a passing bird. All the benefits from the commitment are forfeited. If the 𝙬𝙧 successfully reaches the end of the period, they may roll 2 success dice and choose the benefit they want. So very cool how they have all these little benefits and vows that you can take. So then you've got the success tables, depending on how long. So it could be a week, a month, or a year. So on the 1 week, the first item is an inspiration that you get. On the month, the first one is you gain +1 on all skill checks for 1d6 +1 months. And then on the 1 year, you no longer require sleep, regain spell slots and HP every day at dawn as if they had a long rest. And I'm just reading if you rolled a 1 out of 1d6 on these tables. So you can get an idea of the 1 week, 1 month, and 1 year commitment to these towers. And then they've got this map. Shows you all the surrounding areas. Because there's obviously with something this revered, stuff is going to be built up around it. So you've got all these variations of the maps. You've got night, day, gridded, etc. So one of the places is the Sacred Inn of the Proctorial College, the lodge house of the local Proctorial College, whose members comprise the gang of neighborhood pickpockets, cat burglars, and similar trades. The Sacred Inn is open to all members of the fraternity who has a gang, call themselves the Souk Traders, typical of its kind. It has a common room, several smaller rooms suitable for lodging and other often criminal activities, and a basement for brewing the college's sacred beer. So that's cool. And that's just one. There's at least 14 different locations detailed here. And I mean, not only are you getting the maps, you're getting the locations, you're getting these vows. I mean, even if you just wanted to use these vows for some other situation, even the success tables, they're disconnected from the vows, right? Like the vow of silence, you're not getting a silence related success. So you could just take those success tables and have them be related to other vows or other rituals or things in your own campaign. So you're getting a ton of value for only $1 here. So definitely encourage you to grab this. It's under the Stele of Zameon in the links below. Give it a click. Next, we have Supers and Sorcery presents Demon Dude from Daylight Publications, $15 for 59 pages. And Supers and Sorcery is basically 5th edition superhero version. So it's kind of like modern, but with superheroes mixed in. And this particular book is got focused on Demon Dude, who is inspired by a number of things, including I think prominently Hellboy, but also Black Hammer, the Sword of Hyperborea, the British Paranormal Society, etc. So, and the artwork is very reminiscent of Hellboy. It looks really cool. I love that. And let's take a look inside. So they're giving you a bunch of NPCs. So you're getting the heroes, you're getting the villains, and then you're getting several locations as well, items and subclasses. Because this is built on the 5th edition system, so it should be pretty easy for you to get into this. You might want to get the Supers and Sorcery main book, but it's just cool that this is here. I mean, you can see even the stat blocks is very familiar to you if you are using 5th edition, right? You got challenge ratings, all the usual stuff. So if you wanted to play like a superhero game, but you don't want to go too far, have to learn an entire new system, this is a great way to do it because you're just kind of building on what you already know with 5th edition. So each of these profiles has like a section that's kind of a read aloud. Then it's got the personality traits, ideals, bonds, flaws, background history, the call to action, which is like an adventure hook, and then it tells you about their base of operations, what they're like as an ally, what they're like as an enemy, and then of course you get to the stat block. So the Hellboy analog here, Demon Dude is a CR6, and looks pretty cool. It says, being the son of Baroness of Blood, Demon Dude's blood has a unique property that shows he is truly more than meets the eye. When dealt damage more than his constitution score, any targets of his choice within 5 feet take 1d10 fire damage. So that's kind of a cool ability. His con score is 20. So if he takes more than 20 damage, he's going to do 1d10 fire damage. So that's pretty cool. And then it says, if players come across Demon Dude and get on his good side, or what might account for his good side, they will have access to the archives and records of the COSJ and potentially the armory built specifically for the dispatch and capture supernatural threats. But on the flip side, gaining Demon Dude and the rest of the COSJ as an enemy could spell absolute doom. No night will be safe, no shadowy tavern will be restful, and no alleyway will be a secret. So very cool. And I love that there's bonds and everything here for these characters, and that's just one. I mean, there's the artwork in here is very cool, very comic book. There's someone called Frogling, Cat Gorgon, Firebrand. So I encourage you to come take a look for yourself at all these really cool characters. You can see 25 out of the 59 pages, so you can get a really good look at a lot of these heroes before you purchase. So if you're in the market at all for superheroes, or you want to try it out, I think this is a great option for you. So look for it under Supers and Sorcery Presents Demon Dude in the links below and give it a click. Next, we've got Tink's Treasury of Traps. It's got over 140 contraptions, devices, pits, spikes, collapsing ceilings, and more. From Lucky Dice Games, $9.95 for 99 pages. It says, do you sometimes need to change your dungeons or other environments on the fly to wake up complacent players? So they've got all these dastardly scenarios to remind your players that dangers might lurk around every corner, behind every door, and even in the most recently found treasure hoard. So it helps you to really find new traps, even goes into how you deal with those traps, everything from disabling, triggering them, all that stuff. And it's got traps for corridors, doors, rooms, items, and miscellaneous. But they can easily be adapted to other areas as well. So very, very cool. And 99 pages of trap information is going to be really helpful. This mostly just, the preview just mostly has the intro and the table of contents, so I'm not going to be able to read any of the interior for you. But I do want you to see like the depth of this. So it's got corridor trap. So it starts with invisible wall, and then you can see like all these different options, all even including hamster ball, 90-degree mayhem, why can't I run, acid bath, etc., flip and burn. And then you get, I mean, that's just the corridor traps, and then you get down here to door traps with slamming time, circle, glass door. And then you got room traps, water everywhere, waxworks, magnetic folly, and then item traps. You got eye troubles, all that glows is not golden, bullseye, holy vacuum, sticky staff. I mean, just so many. Eye poke, elevator blues, pole slide. So just imagine what you can do with these, and it's going to go through each one with its name, whether it's simple, complex. It's got a one-line description, detailed description, identifying, disarming, and effects if the trap is triggered. So lots and lots of trap stuff for you in this book. If you need some traps, you like traps, but you want some new ones, or if you're scared to use traps, this could give you an easy way to do it. Because there's such an assortment in here that I'm sure you're going to find at least a few that you're going to want to use. So check it out under Tink's Treasury of Traps in the links below and give it a click. Next, we got The Traveler's Guide to the Rogue City of Drachzee from Chamomile Has Adventures. It's $4.99 for 94 pages. It's 5th edition, and it's about rogues and devils in a city full of both of them. You can sell your soul to the devil or an archfey, an evil sword, or whatever, embracing the Warlock's Pact as never before with this new favor system with your patron allowing you to refresh your spells and other Warlock powers much faster when your patron is pleased, but unable to refresh them at all when your patron is angry. Keep them happy to keep the power flowing faster than ever before, or be left with nothing, scrambling to find some way back into their good graces. So you can become a monstrosity spat out by hell itself with the new Hellspawn class, which is a half-caster warlock, in the same way that a ranger is a half-caster druid or a paladin is a half-caster cleric. And then they've got a write-up of the city of Drachzee itself, including new stat blocks for the damned souls and ne'er-do-wells who walk the streets. And then, just a lot more waiting for you in these pages. So let's look inside. So yeah, you can see the different transformations that can happen whether it's a demon, devil, or flesh warp. And then you've got subclasses like the Chaos Warrior for the fighter. Then you've got a healer class, Hellspawn class, sorcerer subclass called the Beguiler, and some other class options in here, backgrounds, feats, and then information on the location. So quite a bit of material in here. I mean, it's 94 pages, so you're going to have a lot going on, which is cool. So in the preview, you're going to read about like the transformations. So there's tiers to the transformation when you get possessed, basically by these demons. So at tier 0, you have been possessed by a demonic entity, which has had an influence on your psyche. You are more impulsive and distractible, giving you advantage on all wisdom saves. However, you are also more magnetic and forceful, giving you advantage on all charisma-based skill checks, but not saves. And the demonic entity that has possessed you may occasionally attempt to cause you to do something impulsive against your will. No more than once per long rest, the GM can call for a wisdom saving throw to resist. If you fail, you'll attack a creature or pick a pocket or do whatever impulsive thing it was you were making the save against. Once the possession has taken over like this, you can make another save at the end of each of your turns to end it. And that's just tier 0. Then you get to tier 1, where you have to be a minimum level of 5. Your essence has become fundamentally demonic, and you are thus completely immune to acid damage and resistant to fire damage. You are not quite mortal, making you resistant to poison damage. And then you get another demonic power, and they give you 3. We'll just read a couple of them here, so you can betwixt and between. You can cast Misty Step at will. However, when you cast Misty Step, it takes an action instead of a bonus action. Caustic, you gain a caustic natural weapon. This is usually either claws or spiked tail or slam. Either way, it deals 1d8 plus strength damage and may be used in place of any number of ordinary attacks as part of a multi-attack. And creatures struck by it must make a con save against a complicated DC that you can read about. It's not too complicated, but it's a normal, additional one, but I don't like to read that out loud. And then you've got noise. You can cast the dissonant whispers at will. So lots of choices here. We didn't read them all. And then you get to tier 2, and there's various things that happen. That's a minimum level of 9, and then a minimum level of 13 for tier 3. So very cool how this like layers on top of your character, and there's benefits and detriments to it. So it seems like it could work really well for anyone who wants to give this a try. And that's just the beginning. I mean, we didn't even read anything on the classes or the other stuff in here, like the city of Drachzee. So lots and lots of stuff, and it's only $4.99 for 94 pages. That's a steal of a price for that many pages. So check it out under Traveler's Guide to the Rogue City of Drachzee in the links below, and give it a click. Next, we've got The World of Ebonnar, A Nomad's Guide to the Borderlands by Ewell Navi. It's $8 for 73 pages for 5th edition. It's a setting inspired by African mythology, returned to a world brimming with mystical forces and high fantasy influences rooted in folklore ranging from the heart of Africa to Eastern Asia. Join the caravan of the Nomad as they lead you into the Borderlands, go beyond the boundaries of the empires and explore new territories, traverse deep jungles and sail tumultuous seas, climb the heights of snow-capped mountains, or delve the dark caverns that lie beneath. Sit around the campfire and listen to tales of ancient wars and titanic conflicts. You will find that there is much to discover here in the Borderlands. As you travel, you will find the Ebonnar is a land unlike any other. It is a continent filled with tangled rainforests and sprawling deserts. And then it's got features here. So there's a hand-drawn world map, 11 regions, 8 new lineages, 10 new nations, pantheon of deities, 12 new organizations, new options for outer and inner realms inspired by the cosmology, so even your planes can be different, description of magic materials, conceptual designs for new creatures such as a host of celestial choirs and legendary figures among the Djinn. So yeah, I think this got a lot to provide, and this map is really beautiful. I love this. I can see this working out really well for Ebonnar. And so you got the history, the lands, the people. So the different leagues, which would be like the factions, and then the realms, so the inner planes, upper planes, middle planes, lower planes, all that stuff, and then the creatures, fiends, celestials, all that stuff. So really cool. And the beginning is this really detailed timeline. So if you want to learn a lot about the setting, I think reading this is a really fun idea. So I'm going to read just about some of the more recent stuff here. The Realm Wars. So it began with the forging of the beacon. During the Divine Era, zealotry took hold in the world's empires. It was decreed that arcane magic was evil in nature, for it was deemed antithetical to the divine magic wielded by priests and clerics. Terrible oppression was turned upon those with the arcane gift, and that oppression drove arcane mages to desperation. The planar beacon was crafted by magi who had suffered under divine dogma. Their arcane senses had detected other beings in the multiverse who, like themselves, were imbued with arcane magic. These cabals hoped that though the gods had forsaken them, new patrons might accept and empower them. They were right. The beacon signal was heard far and wide by many things that were neither good or were neither gods nor titans. Thus began the Realm Wars, a series of conflicts in which the denizens from other worlds invaded the material plane at the behest of their mortal associates. The Divine Empire stamped out these revolutions wherever they found them. They clung to their doctrines that deemed all arcane beings to be inherently wicked, yet no sooner than they cast down one insurrection, a new one arose. So lots going on, and I love how these different periods of history are named, like the Solstice War, the Kangol War. Really detailed. You don't often see that in third-party settings, such details. And again, I love this map. So lots of fun to be had. Only $8 to get all of this, 73 pages, and I think it has just a tremendous amount of opportunity for you to explore. I mean, you don't often get African inspired things, and I think it's just really cool, especially the fact that they're going into the planes and like giving you some different plane options. So even if you just extract a few things from here, I mean, $8 is not that much. So I really think you should check it out and support this creator. So look for it under World of Ebonnar in the links below and give it a click. Well, that's our last drive-through title for the week. Be sure to like the video, subscribe, and tell your friends about this series so that we can get more people to find out about all these awesome titles. We're going to go on to DM's Guild in just a minute, but before we do, consider purchasing our latest book, Swarms of the Multiverse, which is over 180 pages in print on demand or digital, with tons and tons of new content for DMs, including over 70 brand new creatures along with their swarm counterparts. So you get over 140 stat blocks. Some of them summon swarms, some of them form swarms of their own, some of them command swarms. Whatever their connection is, all 70 of the new creatures are connected to swarms in some way. And then you've got all the bonus things, like some of them have magic items connected to them or demi-planes. We've got 4 fully detailed demi-planes in the book for you. We teach you how to create your own swarms, how to have swarm hosts, and even environmental swarms, which are like swarms that don't have hit points. They're like hazards. So a whole slew of fun stuff in over 180 pages in that book. We've also got our platinum best-selling Feywild Companion, which is available in print on demand and digital, and it's over 150 pages of goodness for Fey-themed adventures, whether you want to have a new Domain of Delight with a beautiful map that comes with it and a fully detailed Archfey, or you can experience the subclasses, the spells, the magic items, the encounters, the monsters, the adventure. I mean, there's just so much. I can't even say it all in this brief moment that's in there, so you'll want to check that out. Then we've got Fizban's Vault of Draconic Secrets, which dives deep into dragon-themed things, including a subclass for every single class, including the Artificer, as well as horde magic items, draconic secrets, or draconic gifts, I should say, and we've got a familiar, trinkets, anything and everything connected to dragons is in there, including adventure hooks, so that all these player-themed things in that book can be easily twisted and used by the DMs to make NPCs or to just have adventures that are based on all these player-based things. So stuff for DMs as well. Then we got Potions Unlocked, which is print on demand or digital. It's over 100 pages with short stories for each of the new potions that are in the book, including how they taste, how they smell, how to make them through crafting. We've got a bunch of optional rules in there, fully stocked vendors, VTT maps, and just a lot of good fun with potions. If you've ever thought potions were boring, this book will make them very interesting for you. That was our goal. And then we've got Van Richten's Librum of Lineages, which takes a deep dive into the new concept of lineages introduced in Van Richten's Guide to Ravenloft, and it gives you 4 really cool conflict-driven lineages that you can start with or incorporate into an existing campaign, because remember, lineages can be thrust on players after they've already chosen their race, right? And then there's optional rules on how to string them together to have a chain of lineages for a character, or to how to remove them. If somebody gets tired of their lineage or doesn't want to have a lineage, it goes through all the steps to do that. So very, very helpful to incorporate that new mechanic. And then lastly, we have Secrets of the Draugr, which is a brand new race that combines the Drow and the Duergar into something unexpected, along with deities, fortune telling, and some fun options for you in terms of adventure hooks and etc. in that book. So check it out. All of those are in the video description, and be sure to click on all the links for the products we're advertising today. Help support these creators, encourage them, and if you purchase anything after you click any of those links, you're going to help support the channel through a small affiliate fee, so we appreciate that. All right, let's move on to DM's Guild. First, we have 101 Trinkets and Treasures of the Unending Blood War from David Stevens, 250 for 16 pages. So you get 101 trinkets and 21 new magical items that you may find on the many battlefields of the Blood War and on the plain Avernus. On the first layer of the Nine Hells, Avernus, an ancient conflict has raged unceasingly for countless eons. The blood war is fought between the chaotic demonic hordes of the Abyss and the regimented infernal armies of the Nine Hells. The lair of Avernus was once a place of dark beauty, a malign paradise in the lower planes, but the blood war changed all of that. Avernus has become ground zero for the blood war, and soon the once beautiful plain of Avernus was transformed into a blasted wasteland. Ruins abound on this layer of hell, and the signs of former civilization are everywhere. So, very cool place to find all of these trinkets, and so you can see there's magic weapons, armor, and wondrous items as well. But in this preview, you're getting to see 10 of the 16 pages, so we'll just pick a few random trinkets to read for you. But you can see there's also some magic items, and we'll read one of those as well. So, a leather-bound book filled with infernal artwork by a devil with a great artistic talent, a small painting of the dark god Asmodeus, a large brass war horn that when blown can be heard for miles, and an amulet in the shape of a sun with angelic wings. When worn, the amulet fills the bearer's mind with righteous and courageous thoughts. So very cool. Now, scrolling down to the items, they've got Ballard's Blade, Devil's Cleaver, Heart-Seeking Arrow, etc., new magic armor as well. So let's read about the Heart-Seeking Arrow. It's a weapon arrow, of course, and it's rare. You gain a +2 bonus to attack and damage rolls made with this magic arrow. Additionally, these arrows score a critical hit on 18, 19, or 20. If you roll a critical hit when attacking with this arrow, the target takes an additional 3d8 piercing damage. So pretty cool. I like the name too, because it's like it's seeking out the heart of the creature. So lots of fun stuff in here, very thematic, fits well with Avernus if you're doing Descent into Avernus, or you just want to have some like demonic themed things, or even some items like the Heart-Seeking Arrow, like that could be used outside of Avernus too. So I like these books from David Stevens because there's a lot of flexibility to drop this stuff in. So check it out. It's under 101 Trinkets and Treasures in the links below, and give it a click. Next, we got Channeler class, a power-up martial class from Mitchell Turnbull, and it's $4.95 for 20 pages. And it says channelers harness the power of extraplanar energies and even their own life force to push themselves further beyond normal physical and mental limits. Utilize their transcendence technique to continually power up further and further in the heat of battle. This great power provides many benefits to the channeler, but it also comes with potential risks, as commanding this much power can be very taxing on their bodies. Wield channeler arts, special weapon techniques infused with extraplanar energies. Utilize them to support your allies by thinking tactically while still dealing a devastating blow. This class takes heavy inspiration from various media tropes such as the power of friendship, fighting selflessly, powering up beyond your limits, and more. And so then there are 6 different subclasses, and it says the class is perfect for those who want to play a power-up style character, such as one inspired by Super Saiyans, magical girls, or various other animes, or you want a class that can reduce its crit range, or you love dishing out damage while still playing a supportive role. And so there's a lot of stuff in here, including 35 different channeler arts to choose from. So, you know, kind of like Eldritch Invocations. All right, so let's look inside. So it says channelers are more than just typical warriors. They possess knowledge of techniques to not only bolster their mind and body, but also know of ways to use their own body as a conduit for extraplanar energy. These channelers can draw in more and more of this power, or even calling up their own life force to fuel them in battle. However, there's a risk in doing so, but this risk is well worth it if it means they can protect those they care about. So, and then you have sort of the table of, you know, setting up, so it shows your what features you get, and then your maximum transcendence, which ranges from 1 to 4, and then your channeler arts, like I said, you know, Eldritch Invocation style things, you get 1 at each level, almost. There's a couple where well, actually no, it does start, it goes from 1 to 10, so basically every few levels you're going to get 1, it seems like. So then you got your channeler arts. So starting at first level, you can momentarily channel your fighting spirit into weapons you wield, letting you perform powerful feats. Fighting spirit, sometimes referred to as an aura or life force. Your fighting spirit is a pool of energy you draw upon to fuel your channeler arts. And then starting at first level, you have learned meditation. To focus your mind and heal your body, you can spend at least 1 minute in a meditative state. During this time, you must remain still and take no actions. After finishing this, you can choose to roll any number of your hit dice to restore your hit points, adding your con modifier to the result of each hit die roll. And then you can also get your fighting spirit back if you do it during a short rest. So starting at second level, during the heat of battle, you can steady your focus and channel your fighting spirit throughout your entire body. While in the state, you push your mind and body beyond their normal limitations. At the end of your turn, you can choose to enter a state of transcendence or increase your state by 1. In order to do so, you must have attacked a hostile creature during your turn or have taken damage from a hostile creature since your last turn. Your transcendence ends early if you fall unconscious. While transcended, you are unable to cast spells. But while in a state of transcendence, you gain the following benefits. Your weapon attacks score a critical hit on a roll equal to 20 minus your current transcendent state, up to 20. You gain a bonus to all saving throws equal to your current state of transcendence. So it's a trade-off. You're getting, you know, the ability to make critical hits more quickly, etc. So yeah, a lot of stuff in here to take in, but it looks fun. And then you get to even see a little bit of the planar callings here, which I think is your subclasses. So this one's called the Third Eye. Those that channel the powers of the astral sea know that the mind is truly the warrior's greatest weapon. So fun stuff. I think, like it said, you know, if you're into Super Saiyans or things that where you're channeling energy, you want to try to be support but also do damage, and you want to just explore a custom class. I think this could be a really cool, fun option to check out. So look for it in the links below under Channeler and give it a click. Next we got Encyclopedia of Boneless Beasts, a comprehensive guide to the world's least appetizing monsters, from Nick Jones, $2.95 for 26 pages. And it says it's a selection of 20 slime creatures and 4 slime items for your games. Cousins of the gelatinous cube, these creatures share that unrelenting hunger that drives the formless monsters ever forward. So you can see, you know, some fun layout and artwork is awaiting you inside. So yeah, it goes into different types of slimes, and then you got the burning slimes, like the fire slime here, which is a CR5, and then you got the coal slime, which is a CR6, and sticky bomb, which is CR8, and the white ash slime, which is CR8. So good variety of CRs. So it says, rarely an adventurer may come across an albino or white ash. These variations on the sticky bomb not only differ in appearance, but in temperament too. The slime is more aggressive, and the usual tactic of allowing itself to be flung out of harm's reach is entirely lacking. Instead, they seem to cling to the ground when triggering their defense mechanism, focusing the full force at any would-be looter. One theory for the change in their temperament and color is the repeated explosions have altered them in some way. Another possibility is that they've accrued too much damage and are in fact nearing the end of their life cycle. So some fun lore to go with these slimes as well. It seems like they're even talking about the diet of the fire slimes. So fire slimes consume living matter just as other slimes do. Though most of this matter is burned off, dense pockets of coloring highlight protected nutrient-rich areas within the slime's body. These veins prevent the slime from simply burning off stores of prized minerals to consume during times of scarce prey. Yeah, I love it. You know, you just slimes and oozes and cubes and all that. Those are some of the funnest, most interesting characters I think or creatures in D&D. And then to have books like this for just $2.95 that kind of deepen the lore and give you some additional stat blocks and stuff are really fun. So check it out under Encyclopedia Boneless Beasts in the links below and give it a click. Next we have the Ethergaunt Compendium from Paolo Di Volio. It's $3.95 for 19 pages. It says, unravel the alien horrors from a distant age and their artifacts in the supplement. Hidden in the wastes of the deep ethereal are the Kinsai, known as the Ethergaunts, concealed inside great pyramids of stone. They plan their return to the prime material after more than 10,000 years of exile. They will have no mercy. You get 6 alien monsters plus several variants, 17 futuristic technological items, 5 sci-fi materials, and of course plenty of art. I mean, look at this really nice layout they've got going on here. So there's a whole section on the technology, and then the different Ethergaunts. It says it gives you everything you need to introduce them to your game. So it's a hidden civilization of horrifying and technologically advanced aberrations driven by merciless rationality. So very cool enemy to face. And so then you get some lore on them, and then you get the Black Ethergaunt, which is a challenge level 18, and then a little bit about the Ochre Ethergaunt here in this preview. So let's read about the Black Ethergaunt. The peak of the Kinsai society is composed by the Black Ones, a caste of philosophers, scientists that are considered of semi-divine status. To contradict a Black One is considered madness and an attack to the society as a whole. Upon them is the privilege and the responsibility of driving their people to a new level of perfection using their incredibly advanced minds. The Black Ones lack the physical build of their lower kin, but they sacrificed it in the favor of their prodigious brains. They are able to outsmart even the most clever opponent and to elaborate extremely intricate plans. They have a wizardly prowess comparable to one of an archmage, which they use to exercise mind control and to challenge and reverse the laws of nature at their will. And then there's even some alternative versions here, but they have with reactions, etc. But let's look a little bit at the stat block here. So you've got the stupefying gaze, you've got enslave, in addition to some things like counterspell. So enslave says no mask, 3 times per rest. The Black Ethergaunt targets one creature it can see within 30 feet. The target must succeed on a wisdom saving throw or be magically charmed by the Black Ethergaunt for a day, or until the Black Ethergaunt dies or is more than 1 mile from the target. The charmed target obeys the Black Ethergaunt's commands and can't take reactions, and the Black Ethergaunt and the target can communicate telepathically with each other at a distance of up to 1 mile. Whenever the charmed target takes damage, it can repeat the saving throw, ending the effect on itself on a success. So yeah, it can enslave somebody, and it's cool that when it takes damage, it can try to release itself from that stuff. So yeah, if you're looking for this really powerful enemy, maybe you want some futuristic stuff or some sci-fi materials, this could be a really good book for you. It's under the Ethergaunt Compendium in the video description links. Give it a click. Next, we've got One Shot to Lock Onto Death by the Dungeon Madams. Suggested price of $3.54 for 14 pages. It's a 4-hour adventure for characters levels 5 to 7, and so 3 to 6 players. But it is easily adapted to a challenge higher level PCs as well. It says it's got an engaging story to navigate your players through a menagerie of undead mayhem and pernicious rituals. And it's an entertaining investigation of mysterious rites and infestations. Those in power try to find a solution when a pupil disappears from their classes, and mercenary bands are successful in ridding the halls of these pests. So very cool. Let's look inside. So you're seeing kind of spread format here, so I'm just going to scroll quickly so you can see some things. I absolutely love this map in here. I think it's gorgeous. And very cool layout too, because it's circular, which you don't often see. So now I'll zoom in so we can read a little bit more. So looking over here, you can see kind of the table of contents. It's got all the numbered locations, and then your adventure introduction, etc. So I'll read a little bit of this. Says, welcome to 𝘽𝙤𝙤𝙠𝙨 School for the Gifted. My name is Peyton Hillis. You may refer to me as Prefect Hillis of 𝘽𝙤𝙤𝙠𝙨 School for the Gifted. Can I help you? And then you give your players time to respond. And then it says, you're here to solve the Necrokids' problems? Ah, yes, Mistress Darvesh already told me about the notice to bring in more mercenaries to solve the current issues. I heard they even upped the bounty to 50 gold per Topi head on top of the reward for clearing out the classrooms. Seems they really want to get rid of the pest. I've been instructed to escort the new crew to the necromancy chambers. In case you were wondering, it's the basement of the Tower of Tutelage. And so that's how they get to this circular area, I'm guessing. It's in a tower. And so this dimly lit, slightly curved corridor has multiple doors behind which strange sounds of clinking metal pipes and indiscernible whispers can be heard. The stench is overwhelming, but even in the gloom of the eerily green light emanating from the walls, you can make out tiny monstrous shapes skittering down the hall toward you. When the dim light can no longer hide their shadowy nature, your eyes are treated to a terrifying visage of multiple 2-foot-tall, shrunken humanoids with leathery skin. Uh-oh. So pretty cool, very descriptive, and I love the artwork of the cover and the map that we saw. So I think this could be really fun for people, and it looks like you get to see the majority of the book in the preview there. So I think you definitely need to check it out and see if it's going to work for you and your table. So look for it in the video description links under To Lock Onto Death, and actually it'll be under One Shot to Lock Onto Death, but give it a click. Next, we've got Schools of Homebrew Magic Experimental Collection 1 by 𝘽𝙤𝙤𝙧𝙀 𝘽𝙤𝙀, and it is $3.95 for 20 pages. And it says, a multiplanar organization consists of heroes and scholars roaming the cosmos while documenting their findings and searching for the stories behind them. This collection consists of 4 creatures, 9 items, and 7 spells for 5th edition. So, Alabaster Snow Lion, or Giant Decaying Boa. And you've got Lubinki's Dome of Ice, which is a spell. So yeah, let's look inside. So Amulet of Divine Projectiles, Arcane Puzzle Boxes. Yeah, so you get to see 5 of the 20 pages, which includes quite a few items, and I love how descriptive they are. There's a lot of text for them, which is really helpful. But let's read about the arcane puzzle boxes. So these are wondrous item, rarity varies, and does not require attunement. Scattered around the universe, these boxes may hold the key to unparalleled power or eternal suffering. Legends speak of an inventor who wanted to arouse the curiosity of every adventurer and even some of the gods, just to see if anyone could find them all and solve them. Puzzle box is an item that you can only open after a series of checks, and sometimes sacrifices or gifts have been made. Such as an investigation or losing an arm. The DC of the checks changes according to the rarity, and after a successful check, the next will have its DC increased by 2. You can fail up to 2 times per check, otherwise the box teleports 3,000 feet to a random direction. The contents of the box can be beneficial or not and match its rarity. Each dawn the box changes its combination and resets to its original form. The box will only react to the acts of the creature which started the process of opening it until it returns to its original form so another creature can try. So you've got the one of enlightenment here. Pulses with a strange blue energy that attracts intelligent beings. First, you have to succeed on 3 Arcana or Investigation checks. Then you have to burn a 1d6 -1 spell slot, focusing on the box to open it. As the puzzle box opens, its solid parts wither into dust, and its blue energy coalesces into a series of hieroglyphics that penetrate your mind and make you an instant brighter. Your intelligence score increases by 2, as does your maximum for that score. And then they've got the puzzle box of Soothing Storm. You have to succeed on 3 Arcana or Investigation or Sleight of Hand checks to open the box. As soon as the box opens, the solid parts fall to the ground and the full wrath of the purple storm jolts your whole body. You have to succeed on a con saving throw or become paralyzed until you are cured, or until 48 hours have passed. If you succeed, you also gain permanent advantage on saving throws against being paralyzed. So these are interesting. They could be pretty much entire adventures, especially with them teleporting 3,000 feet in a random direction. You could have, a whole quest to figure out what the benefits are. And you could probably even make your own following the same sort of pattern here. Once you get the book and have all the information on the DCs and stuff. So fun stuff. And that was just one of the many things that are in the Schools of Homebrew Magic. So you definitely want to check this out. It's in the links below under Schools of Homebrew Magic. Give it a click. Next, we got Silver Moon Rising for Forgotten Realms from Carl Terrence Vandal. It's $20 for 166 pages. And it's basically... it says the League of Silver Marches was an ideal that failed. Silvery Moon was blamed for its failure to aid Sundabar from an orc horde. Its reputation in shatters. The Gem of the North lost political power and allies. However, the threats in the north have not diminished. The Lord's Alliance is too far away to provide proper aid and support to the people of the Silver Marches. Without the League, the Silver Marches is likely to fall to the next major threat that raises its head. That is unacceptable to a small number of concerned individuals, and so they make their plans to ensure that this will not happen. Travel through the Silver Marches, forge alliances and friendships, overcome opponents and obstacles, help restore Silvery Moon in the League of Silver Marches. So it's a campaign, and it gives you details and locations around the Silver Marches and within Silvery Moon, and you got factions and how their presence is affecting it. You got a 10-part adventure scalable from 1st to 15th level, 74 stat blocks for monsters and others, 12 pages of random encounters, 6 magical items, and of course some maps. So looking inside, it's all hyperlinked, which is helpful. So lots of sections to this because it's 166 pages, right? And you get these really nice maps of the area, so you can, get to know Silvery Moon a little better. Background and even more maps in here to help you find your way around. So yeah, lots of stuff to see in here. 19 pages, kind of giving you some of the background of the areas. So we'll pick an area to read about here in a minute, but it's got a whole section on traveling through and some of the things that you might encounter in these areas. So Carl always does a really detailed job, so it's pretty much exhaustive on the area. So if you ever wanted to know about an area of the Forgotten Realms, Carl's going to cover it in depth for you. So very good author to know and support. So let's read about the one stone here. It says the spirit mound of the Sky Pony tribe of 𝘏𝙤𝙘 barbarians lies in a grove of oak trees surrounded by the tall pines of Moonwood west of the Red Run River. Recently, activity at the Spirit Mound has increased. The spearhead has become embedded in Great Chief Arnzon Vast's chest, has now put him on his deathbed. The Sky Pony barbarians have been gathering at the One Stone in preparation for the passing of the Great Chief. All attempts by the tribal shamans to heal Arnzon have proven unsuccessful. However, the Great Chief's daughter, Andrina Vosk, is concerned that there must be a way to save her father and is willing to even seek assistance from Silvery Moon. So, even though this book contains a 10-part adventure for 1st to 15th level, you just see from reading what Carl's written about a location here, you could build an adventure helping this tribe save their chief, or do whatever they need done. Could be lots and lots of adventures. And just getting to meet the Sky Pony tribe of the 𝙒𝙤𝙘𝙀 barbarians could be fun and interesting and different. So maybe you're already in the Forgotten Realms and you just want like a little side quest. That could be a side quest. And that's just, like I said, one section. Carl goes into great detail about so many, and you can read a lot of them here before you even purchase. So great stuff, super fun for Forgotten Realms fans, or even people, you could take that Sky Pony tribe and put it in some other setting. No harm there. Change the name even if you want to. So lots of value in this book. Over 166 pages for you, just waiting for you to discover more about the Forgotten Realms. So look for it in the links in the video description under Silver Moon Rising and give it a click. Next we have the Kitt Inn, a one-shot for D&D Beginners. And it's by DM Pat. It's $1.99. And it says, Kitt Inn, a quiet inn along a long stretch of road, has recently noticed their supplies running out, and even worse, their cat is missing. Players investigating the missing supplies begin to unravel a sinister goblin scheme, and players will have to track down Mittens, the missing cat, before it's too late. The Kitt Inn is an approachable, simple, and fun first foray into the world of Dungeons & Dragons. It provides resources for everything a group needs to complete their first ever one-shot, or it can be dropped into a game for dungeon masters who are low on time. The approximate runtime is 2 hours for 3 to 6 level 1 characters. And there's maps that you can use as well in here. So fun stuff, and it's got your intro here, and I like that it's like devoted to the beginners. It makes it really easy, tracking the goblins, goblin hideout. So you're gonna have some goblin stuff. Lots of flavor text boxes, which I really appreciate. And then you got all your stat blocks together here at the very end, so you can just flip to this one page and kind of have everything ready to go. So let's find some read aloud flavor text to read for you. So we'll start with this inn here. It says, after a long day traveling on the road, the party has settled into a comfy, if not a little run-down inn along the road named the Kitt Inn. The traffic along the road was sparse, and there's little else around the inn other than trees. The innkeeper is the lone inhabitant, quietly tending the bar. A keg of beer sits along the wall behind him. Several tables scatter the room, and the fireplace crackles gently beside the tables. The days are long, and the sun is still coming in through the windows, casting light into the room. The entrance to the inn is on the south wall, and a door to the back room is on the north wall. As the bartender approaches to take an order, everyone go ahead and introduce your characters. So that's how you get started, and then you get more on the bartender and innkeeper. But yeah, every little bit there's a piece to read, so I could see where this would be really easy to implement for new players. And oh, that's a fun map too. Let's look at some of these maps. Oh, lots of fun maps here at the end, and some tokens even. So let's zoom in on this map so you can see a little bit better. Yeah, that's really nicely well done. You can reuse this too. I mean, it looks like a little tavern or an inn here. So always need maps of that. And yeah, it's really, really nice artwork. So check it out. It's under the Kitt Inn in the links below. Give it a click. Next, we got Troubles in Talenta, and it's an Eberron adventure. And it says, in the ocean of grass, noir, intrigue, and politics seethe, and the wounds of the last war still hurt, literally, and everyone hides strong motivations. Some are motivated right to the moral edge, others far beyond. At a secret facility in Talenta, Dragon-marked House researchers built a prototype for a new Warforged, but things went wrong. While some struggle to survive, other powers prepare to pounce. All want the PC's help immediately. On the journey to the facility, PCs might also eliminate dangers lingering in a destroyed Siren fort, resolve the mystery of a missing university professor, find a hidden oasis and his otherworldly secret, or even cross the plains with a precious trade cargo in a camel caravan. So you get 3 short standalone adventures playable in 1 or 2 gaming sessions, 1 long adventure with enough content and challenges to fill several sessions, random DM selectable combat and roleplay events, guidelines for buying, selling goods, and traveling to Lenta, and a profit-driven camel caravan, options for finding and raising unique creature companions, lore, history, and geography of the plains. So pretty cool. It seems to have comprehensive content here to support adventuring into Lenta. And it's an area of Eberron I haven't heard much about, in third-party content. So it's nice to hear somebody else, delving into it on the third-party side, so you can get more information. So you got an adventure synopsis, and wow, that's a nice map. Some really cool maps in here. Yeah, lots of text to read aloud. So looks like this is really well done, and well organized for you. So you got your introduction, how to bring everything together, quick links, all that stuff, and then they get right into this one, the sins from the last war remain. So it gives you a synopsis, a background, and then some hooks like a consortium of gather-hold merchants commission adventurers to investigate the fort and eradicate any evil spirits. That's one of the hooks. But then let's look at some of the flavor text here. So it says, a ruined hill fort with a tower and several buildings sits atop 2 mounds ringed with wooden walls. The moat is now just a shallow, grass-filled depression. Everywhere vegetation grows tall, reclaiming the structure. And then under the barracks, it says, ruins of charred timber form a rough outline where a large rectangular building once stood. One shadowed corner of scorched framing with planked roof remains. Burned bones, bits of armor, and charred leather lie within the ruins. So yeah, you can definitely picture these things. That helps you with these maps because you've got the maps kind of showing the same stuff that you're talking about. So yeah, I think this is cool. It's got a lot of adventures in it. It's only $6 to get all these adventures, and you can mix and match them. You can have a whole campaign in Lenta, and you get these things for like how to run a profit-driven caravan, how to get some creature companions, and just even background information on Lenta. So it's a lot of stuff for a low price, and I think Done with Deserts has done a really good job here. 90 pages for $6. Can't beat that. So check it out. It's under Troubles in Lenta in the links below. Give it a click. Well, that was our last new release. Now we're going to give you a sneak peek at our exclusive discount on all of our social media channels on Monday. It is Sorce's Crafting Field Guide from Knaves and Saves. And it's normally $10, but we're going to give you a special discount on that. And it's got a pair of crafting systems with a fantasy generic set of crafting reagents for use in your 5th edition game. It provides GMs and players the power to expand crafting in their gaming world to vast limits. It is designed to be future-proofed and works with 5th edition materials currently published and those that may be published later. So you get crafting recipes for every standard magic item, recipe creation rules for any 5th edition magic item you can dream up, 2 crafting systems to choose from, over 100 new items, 56 herbs, legendary potions, planner potions, even a crafting tool belt character sheet. And then a percentage of the profits are donated to World Wild Fund for Nature. So lots of reasons to want to check out this book. And as I said, we're going to give you a discount. It's normally $10, but it's not going to be that price through our discount. So if you're following at Splinterverse on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, those discounts are going to come out on Monday at 10 a.m. Mountain Standard Time. And then discount lasts for about a week, so you want to make sure you're following and taking advantage of that as quickly as you can. And of course, we're going to deep dive into this next week in our video as well. So thank you so much for watching. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave us a comment. I will respond to all those comments. Share the video out there with your friends. Consider purchasing some of our books, including Swarms of the Multiverse, our latest release, as well as our other bestsellers like Feywild Companion and Potions Unlocked, etc., all listed in the video description, alongside the links for all the great content we talked about this week. So be sure you're clicking on those, purchasing these books, leaving these reviews for the creators, following them on social media, and supporting them and encouraging them to keep going. because that will spur them onward to create more great things for all of us to enjoy. And if you are a creator and you are watching this, keep going. We want to see what you've got, and you can do this. We show you every week all these people making it happen, and you can too. So we believe in you. Go out there and do it. And for everyone watching, thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, happy adventuring.